Hi everyone, we are still on the cosine rule, solving problems under this cosine rule. Our next question here says that a helicopter flies on a bearing of 0.80 degrees from A to B. This is 80 degrees from point A to point B, where AB is 50 kilometers. It then flies for 60 kilometers to a point C. Given that C is 80 kilometers from A, calculate the bearing of C from A. So, what we need to do first is to represent this problem graphically. We need to sketch and put this information in the diagram. Since they are talking about bearing here, bearing of 80 degrees, whenever you hear the word bearing, you know we are talking about the cardinal points of the Earth. That is about the North Pole, the South Pole, the East and the West. When you hear the word bearing, this should come to your mind. So let's now have our cardinal points here. This represents north, east, south, west. Yeah? So it says the helicopter flies from a bearing of 0.80 degrees from A. So this is our point here. This is A. And it flies 80 degrees. This is from the north. We are always measuring from the north. And clockwise is positive. From the north here, going clockwise is positive. So this is 0.80 degrees, this angle here, to a point B. Say this is point B. This our point here is B. And for a distance of 50 kilometers. This is 50 kilometers. It then flies for 60 kilometers to a point C. So when it reaches here, again, this is our north, it changes direction and flies for 60 kilometers to a point C. So 60 kilometers to a point C. You are now asked to calculate the bearing of C from A. So when it reaches here, just for illustration purposes, we are now asked to calculate the bearing of C, this point here, from A. When you hear this calculating bearing from this to this, when it says calculate the bearing of C from A, this is what you look at. This is where you pay much attention on. From where? Calculate the bearing of this from where? From A. So this here, this is what we need to solve. This position here relative to this position A. That is what this question is saying here. Calculate the bearing of C from A. So this is what you solve. Once you solve this, you will then do minor things to get the answer they're asking you to work out. Correct? So now we have this, and we are told, given that C is 80 kilometers from A, so this distance AC is 80 kilometers. I would like to say, you know, from north to east is 90 degrees, and already 80 degrees is gone, so we have 10 degrees inside here, but we might not need that. Let's draw our triangle now properly. We have something like this, and like this. So here you have A, B, C. This is 50 kilometers. This is 60 kilometers. And here is 80 kilometers. Since we want to find the bearing of C from A, we need to know what this angle is, this entire angle inside here. We need to know, in other words, we are going to look for this angle here. This angle. Once we calculate this angle, we'll be able to find the bearing of C from A. So when you look at this problem, as I mentioned the last time, you can use the cosine rule to solve this. I've covered that. You can also use the sine rule to solve this, which is going to be our next class. The sine rule. We're going to derive the sine formula. Sine A over sine A equals to B over sine B equals to C over sine C. That's the rule. So here, we want this angle here, angle A. So we're going to apply the cosine rule. The cosine rule. If we want angle A, this is cos A, so we should look at the opposite side of this angle, which is 60. So we now have 60 squared equals the two sides that are adjacent to this angle, which is 50 squared plus 80 squared minus 2 times 50 times 80, 50 times 80, the cosine of A. In other words, if this is A, this is going, because this side opposite angle A is A. This line, this angle, this line, this side opposite angle B, this is going to be small b, and this is going to be small c. So what we have done here, we've said that A, because we want angle A, we want this angle, cos A. So we start with that side opposite that angle. So which is A squared equals C squared, would have said B squared, 80, but let me, C squared plus B squared minus 2CB, the cosine of A. This is the cosine rule. This is what we have just applied here. Cosine rule. I could have said 80 plus 50. There could have been B plus C. B squared plus C squared. But it's addition. It doesn't matter which one comes first. They're all the same. So we just need now to solve this one. This is 3600 equals 2500 plus 6400 minus 2 times 50 is 100. 100 times 80 is 8000. So 8000, the cosine of I. So this is, here we have 3600 must be equals to, this is 8900 minus 8000 cosine of I. So we have one unknown here, cos A. So I'll take cos A on the other side, the left hand side, and I'll bring the 3600 on the right hand side. So this is going to be now 8000 cosine of A. I would like to put these people to understand. So it's now gonna be 8900 minus 3600. I like to take out these parts. Yeah. Correct. So we now have 8,000 cosine of A is equals to, this is 8900 minus 3600, so 89, this is 5300. So the cosine of A must be equals to 5300 all over 8,000. You know the zeros cancels, so you now have 53 all over 80. Let's use our calculator to do that. 53 divided by 80. This will give us 0.6625. That is cos A, cosine of A. But want the angle. We are looking for an angle, not cosine. So now, to find this angle A, you can put it like this, angle A. This will give us the arc cosine of 0.6625. To find angle A, arc cosine of 0.6625. So again, shift cosine 0.6625, bracket closes. You get 48. This gives us 48.509 degrees. We can approximate this to be 48.5 degrees. Right? So this 48.5 degrees is what is inside here. That is angle A. Yeah, I shouldn't have erased that diagram. But I shouldn't have erased that diagram. It was like this, isn't it? That is what is inside there. 40. That is what is inside this triangle. That's 48.5 thing you see. But you know, that from the North Pole, as we said before, up to this line here, we already had 80 degrees. Correct? We already had 80 degrees up to here. So what you get inside here, because we are measuring from the north, so we need to add that 80 degrees to this 48.5 degrees. Right? I shouldn't have erased that figure, that diagram we did. You know, we talked about 80 degrees here. Okay? So that 80 degrees now up to this line. So you now have this 48.5. So you now have to add this 80 degrees to 48.5. So you have 48.5 degrees plus 80.0 degrees. So you have 128 degrees. So therefore, from this north pole, this north here, up to this line, because this line from A, this is the line that goes to C. You are asked to calculate the bearing of C from A. So from A comes from the north here, 120 degrees to C. So this is your final answer, 128.5 degrees. I hope this helps. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye. If you like the video, please like it, share it, and make any comments. Thank you. Bye-bye.